My son left home at the age of 18. He finished his last A-level. We picked him up from college and we took him straight to the airport, where he went to live in the US for 3 months in Seattle, where he works at the equivalent of kind of Camp America. It was a children's summer camp. And then after that 3 months, he went to Hawaii for a month on his own for travels. And that's the first time we've been so far away from him, and he was on his own. So nothing really prepares you for an empty nest. Well, I think we're just not prepared for an empty nest. It's a time of transition, and we really don't prepare for it, but we really, really should. Because it's not just your children leave home, it's also their friends don't come round anymore. So it's the absolute silence and the lack of entertainment. So where you were running your child around for, I don't know, swimming club or drama club or some kind of sports activities, and then suddenly all of that's gone and you've got lots of free time, and you need to fill that so that the sense of loss isn't so intense. For me, I still miss my son every day. It's been 12 years, and every single day I have moments where I wish I could talk to him, I wish I could hug him. He's got a great life, and he travels a lot. He's actually a sea captain, so he has quite an unusual schedule. It's 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. So he has 2 weeks on at work, and then he has 2 weeks off to do what he wants with his partner and their family, or they go traveling a lot. So he has an amazing life, but I still miss my role as a mother. And I know when that role first disappeared, when I first became an empty nester, it was really, really hard to deal with it. I felt a huge sense of loss, and also I thought I'd lost my value as a human, because that had been taken away from me. I mean, I was super duper proud that he went and he was launched into the world as a capable adult, but it's still that sense of loss and not having a value. So my top tip for dealing with an empty nest is to actually prepare for it. So make sure that you can fill your days with things that you want to do. I mean, you've spent maybe 18 years, like I did, looking after your children and putting them first, and now it's time to put yourself first. So think about things that you like to do, things you used to do. So for me, I started doing creative things, origami, painting, and now most recently writing. And these are all the things that I used to like doing when I was a lot younger, and then of course they've been put on hold for many years whilst I prioritise my role as a mother. So that's one thing. And the other thing is, you're not running around after children anymore, so you're actually a little bit more sedentary. So it's so easy to put some weight on, gather a few pounds every year. So I started exercising again, and for me I chose jump rope because jump rope was something I did as a young girl, and it was my favourite thing to do. I like the rhythm, it's almost like a meditation, because you get into the zone, you don't want to whip your toes with the rope, and if you put some good music on, the time just flies by, and you can be doing 2,000, 3,000 jumps before you know it. So start exercising again, or doing some sport, maybe join a sports club or something like that. But it's the fact we don't prepare for these life transitions, and we find that we're suddenly lost, and our world is in chaos, because the order that we had with the children's schedule is suddenly it's open and everything's kind of random. There's no set timetable. So it's good to put a little bit of order in the chaos, like going to the gym or going to a netball team meeting once a week. And then the next thing is to kind of think about what you want from life. What do you want to do? Is there a passion that you've put to the back of your mind, or a dream that you haven't fulfilled? I mean, I've just written a book. I wrote it when I was 56. I'm 57 now, and it's about to be published, the Midlife Edit. And the Midlife Edit, it does what it says on the can. So basically, it's editing every aspect of your life, and that's something that I've been doing over the past, 5 years actually, but I should have started it before my son left home, so that I was fully entertained and I had lots to do. But the huge sense of loss can be replaced with a huge sense of pride that your human that you produced is out there in the wild and surviving and thriving. But you can survive and thrive too. There's an opportunity in midlife to take these transitions and turn them into opportunities. an opportunity to fulfill your own dreams. I've got a dog that's about to knock my tripod over, so I don't know what's going to happen here. We actually got Ginger, this is Ginger, we actually got her when our son left home, so she's 12. It's 12 years since he left. But you shouldn't fear being an empty nester, you should look forward to it, but you do need to plan for it. And the next thing is to kind of start taking care of yourself, nurturing yourself, giving yourself some of the love that you gave to your children, and nourishing yourself with good food. So instead of always being in a hurry trying to feed your children and every other child that wanders through the door, I mean, I quite often have a table full of children most nights, even though I only had one son. And it's time to start prioritizing what you're eating to make sure you're nourishing your body, not getting any younger. I guess by the time you're an empty nester, our bodies are kind of past their prime. Probably because we've neglected them a little bit as well. They're not in as good a shape as they could be. So it's your time to shine. It's your time to start exercising, start building muscle, start thinking about how you can prepare for old age. Honestly, holding on to my mobility is the most important thing to me, to hold on to my mobility and hold on to my marbles, because cognitive decline is accelerated if you don't participate in any kind of physical activity. So I make sure that I exercise every day for at least 15 minutes. It's normally around 25 to 30 minutes. For about 15 minutes, jump rope is my chosen activity, and it's a full body workout, and in 15 minutes I am exhausted, and I follow that with a cold shower. But other days I do kettlebell as well, and kettlebell's amazing because you can do it indoors. You only got to buy one kettlebell, and there's so many different exercises you can do. So the other thing is to start thinking about clearing out your house of all the stuff that you don't need anymore, your children have left behind, but they don't want it, else they'd have taken it with them. Another thing that I'm really interested in is strating, which is a Swedish method of cleaning. It's actually called Swedish death cleaning. It sounds a little bit morbid, but actually it's amazing because it makes you think about everything you own, everything that's in your house, and whether you need it. And if there's things you want to give to people after your death, why wait until you're dead? Well, give it to them now, and you can see the joy or the use that they get out of that item. We tend to hold on to things, lots of memories, but all the memories are in your head. You don't need to hang on to things. And I let go of nearly everything I owned 7 years ago now. Our son had left home, he'd left all these things behind. Like I said, he didn't need them. So we decluttered the house, gave away all of our belongings. Well, we sold some of them, gave them away, donated. And we were just left with about 10 boxes of things we couldn't dispose of, you know, paperwork, those kinds of things, certificates. So those came with us to Portugal, and we started a new life here. And I'm really grateful for this opportunity to have the freedom to do what I want. And that's how the book came about, was having the freedom to actually sit back and write a book, because my whole working life I had worked really hard, as everybody does, but I was also doing 2 other roles at the same time. There was my full-time job, then I was starting blogging on the side and website building, and then also at the same time, since the time I was 17, we had been renovating houses. So we renovated house after house after house, and that's the reason that we actually could stop working several years ago. I mean, I'm still working, but I could actually choose what work I wanted to do and start my own business. So it's actually nice to be able to prioritize doing things that I want to do now, like writing my book. And I've got a podcast coming up, which is incredible. I mean, I'm 57 and I'm learning new skills, so you're never too old to learn something new. So it's August now, and a lot of young people have recently got their results, so they know which university they're going to. So I know there's a lot of women out there who are anticipating this empty nest feeling, and I don't want to feel a sense of loss. I want you to feel a sense of gain, that you've gained all this extra time to do things that you want to do. And of course, when you're happy, your children can thrive and be happy outside of the home as well. And also gives them something to look forward to and talk to you about when they come back. My son is always saying, hey, what's new? What have you been up to? What's the latest thing that you're working on? And he loves the fact that I'm still motivated to work and motivated to learn new things. So don't fear your children leaving home. This should be a celebration. It it should be a time to party. It should be a celebration. Our son, we picked him up from college on his last exam, and we took him to the airport and we waved him off, and he was flying to Seattle, and we both looked at each other and said, what have we done? What have we done? We've sent our son off to the US for 3 or 4 months, and so we had a very noisy house that suddenly became silent. And then you have to decide whether you actually like each other, husband and wife, whether you still like each other, and you have to adapt to spending more time together and not having the distraction of a young person to look after. But my reason for my video today is to just say, prepare for these transitions. There's lots of transitions that we go through in our 40s and beyond, menopause and retirement, empty nesting, that kind of thing. But look forward to it all, but make sure you do some planning. I'm going to be sharing a lot more on my channel about planning for these transitions and how to cope with them, and my podcast, which is called True Peace in a Pod, which I'm going to be doing with 2 Buddhist monks, is really taking Eastern philosophies and wisdom and applying it to our Western lifestyle, because both of the monks that will be on the podcast with me, they both were raised the majority of their lives in the West, so they know all of the challenges that take place in the Western world, but how Eastern philosophies can help us through these transitions and looking after our body, our hearts, our mind and our soul. Because as we get older, everyone says, oh, eat the right things and move more, but there's more to it than that. You have to understand that there's a whole spiritual element, a whole soul element that has been neglected for so long, but it's a time for awakening. And it's a time for you to realise your potential, your power. You have so much power to change your life, and so many people don't realise it. And I've only discovered that over the past few years, the power that I have in my hands to change everything about my life and make my dreams come true. So I hope you enjoyed this video today. It's just a bit of a chat on the carob tree down in the meadow. And if you've got any questions, drop them below and I will make more videos soon. So thanks for stopping by, and I hope you have the most beautiful day.